look at one of his most recent videos. Give me 5 minutes and I'll boost your testosterone by 25%. Yeah, title's pretty good. The one thing I would say though, the moment I came on here, don't know if anyone else felt that way, but the thumbnails look kind of amateurish. Anyone else agree? I think one of the things you've got to remember is like it doesn't necessarily have to be it doesn't have to look good as a group of videos because very rarely is someone actually going to click on your profile. Mostly people just like they're just on the homepage and they see your individual videos. So it's not like that there's the problem is that there's different styles or whatever. But I'd say like look at this one for example, boost your test. This that caption or the font just looks shitty. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. It looks like kind of like the ones that we'd make in school, like back like 10 years ago or something, which is fine, bro, because I'm shit at like this artistic type of stuff. I'm terrible at it as well. It reminds me of like I used to work as a receptionist and they made me make like this like social media, posts or whatever, like on Canva, like back in the day. And I remember I posted one, which I look back now is so shit. Where like, imagine you're like, you're writing some words on like this picture of like some guy with back pain, and it was just formatted so shit. Where like the sentence cut off, and there was like one word in the middle, like in a new sentence, and then a new sentence. Like basically, like it fucking looked terrible, right? And this is gonna be a good lesson. I'll relate it to you guys. Imagine it was like it looked like this, right? So I'm writing like words, whatever, and then it looked like this. So imagine this is like 10 words. Oh, like back pain, yeah, like come to physio, whatever. And it looked like this, like come to our physiotherapy. It looked like that basically. I was like, and I had no intention when I made it to think like that just looks fucking terrible. It was like just the word two in the middle of two sentences. Like, so the tip I'll give you here is you'd be surprised just how effective the default three that YouTube gives you. You'd be very surprised, right? So, what I would say is for most guys, I genuinely believe that just sticking with the default three pictures that YouTube suggests, you click over, I genuinely think that's better for most people than making their own thing. If you're going to make your own, like even with this, it's like that's not, I see what you're trying to do here, but it's not really insightful to click and there's an extra like edge you have when you use one of the default three of YouTube, like like you go on to upload a video and it suggests like three different ones for you. It's weird. It's like there's an extra edge of like people can just tell for some reason that it's a bit of a raw kind of thing. Like this is the default one, right? I can go make like this is like a filmer post and I can make like a professional looking one. Let's say the picture is me in the ring and I've just won in this martial arts fight. That's what everyone would make as their thumbnail on this. But anyone who's been on YouTube for a while will tell you like the click-through rate on that will be kind of shitty. Imagine it's just like a picture of me winning, whatever. But then this one that YouTube recommended, imagine this pops up on your homepage on my main channel. Straight away, it's like, oh shit, like Hamza, like, oh, like, I remember that face in the bathrobe. I wonder what the fuck's happening here. So this will actually, I know for a fact this will have a higher click-through rate than even the one that I would have like artistically made. And if I wrote some text, like a picture of me winning the fight, and it's like, oh, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. It's like, oh, it would have been more effort for less gain. So many times, I really think these three that they suggest to you, one of them might actually be better than the version that you might artistically create yourself. But let's go over the video and let's see. You guys can hear it, yeah? Oh, hang on. I can't hear it either. I just saw it. Fucking loom, bro. Weird. Yeah, do you hear it now? Yeah, that's weird. Can someone record this on? Let me see if I can just do it one more time. It's weird. Loom changes your fucking speaker setting for some reason. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, still good. You all hear it? Okay, sweet. It's quiet. Oh, is it? That's weird. Yeah, I think he's on. In Loom. Okay, I'll play it from my speakers, and then after this, I think I'll try and record, and we'll get Sam's. Sam, you're recording this call, yeah? We'll use your recording for this one. Then Loom seems to be fucking up for me for some reason. Okay, you guys, you hear this? And if you watch this video, I'm going to explain to you how morning sunlight can naturally boost your testosterone levels the most. So let's get into it. This is my physique. Wow, that's weird as fuck. I even put the sorry about this, boys. I even put the settings share sound. No, it's not quiet. It's not the video's fault because it's loud on my computer. Let me change one of these settings.
And I've achieved high testosterone levels at only 17 years old. And if you watch this video, I'm going to explain to
Good.
you how morning sunlight
Sweet.
can naturally. This
Okay.
is my
Okay, let's begin.
this is my physique, and I've achieved high testosterone levels at only 17 years old. And if you watch this video, I'm going to explain to you how morning sunlight can naturally boost your testosterone levels the most. So let's get into it. What did our ancestors do as soon as they woke up? They went outside, they went to hunt, they went to hunt animals, they didn't have food to eat. They didn't have frozen foods, they didn't have cereal, they didn't have this, that. They only had meat, eggs, just the basic bullshit, right? So as soon as they woke up, they knew that they had to eat. They knew that they had to go to hunt because their family needs to eat. And you need to have that exact same fucking mindset. They knew that their family had to eat, so they went out and they got the fucking food. So the reason that our ancestors had so much testosterone and the reason that we have so low levels of testosterone is
So the thing with the testosterone niche is you really have to look the part. So the best person to teach testosterone will be like, what was that guy's name? Liver King. Imagine this. This is how you want to look if you're talking about testosterone and ancestral and whatever. Preferably, obviously, it's like you're not just gonna, look like this afterwards. But this is what I meant by remember when I said to you guys like the archetype that you kind of look like you fit into. This would be the ideal testosterone influencer, testosterone primal way of living, whatever. When you don't look like this, then you
this is my
showing
physique.
your credibility like this. Hang on, sorry. I wouldn't say this is credible. The moment you said this, I was like, I'm not going to listen. If I'm bigger than you, it's like, I'm not going to listen to you. And also, like, you're not big enough to say, okay, this is my physique. This is the thing. Now, if this was like a wholesome fitness video, this is my physique. I've only been training for like 6 months. This is how I've packed on muscle mass. Okay, sweet. I'd listen to you. But basically what we need is, if we're going to talk about testosterone, we need the proof. We need to see your stats, and we need to see, okay, your first test said 300 nanograms, which was really low. Then you did some things, and now it's 800. Then I'd listen to. Then I wouldn't even care that your physique, you're not like a big roided motherfucker. It wouldn't even matter because you showed me two different tests. Because otherwise, it's like basically what you're showing me is like a pretty like it's not a nice physique. It's not bad, but to show it as credibility, it's like it's not enough. So preferably you go get two tests. You go get a test right now, and you said you've got a test coming. Get that. See what it is. If it's 1,000 something, okay, sick. Just talk about that. If it's not actually that high, which it might not be, let's say it's 400, 500, 600, actually go and increase it. Go and do all these things, autistically actually go and do these things, live that life, get it to like 900. And then you should say that at the start of every video. I increased my testosterone by 300 nanograms. My testosterone was 600, now it's 900. Sam gave a good piece of advice, which is go sit outside in the sun on the grass as well. You're talking about like, okay, live like an ancestor. They went outside in the sunlight, and then you're in this weird like dark dungeon with like the random radiator behind you. This kind of like, you've got a desk there, whatever, you're kind of like looking at the camera. This would work if some kid was going to talk about like, studying or something. Imagine he had like a stack of books on his little table there. That would work. You're talking about testosterone, the natural way of life, and then you're under like artificial lighting. Next video should be you shirtless in nature, and you started off with a joke of like, oh, I'm sunning my balls right now. And that's actually the way to increase testosterone, is to get it like directly on your testicles or something like.
This is my physique, and I've achieved high testosterone levels at only 17 years old.
The hook isn't bad, by the way. The way you like said the hook was right. I just think the words said need more credibility. So it's not just like, this is my physique. It's more like, this was my first test. 3 months later, this was my second test. I increased it by 300. I'm going to walk you through it. Step number 1, sunlight.
Rhythm. And what circadian rhythm is, it's actually your body's internal body clock.
Let's see your program as well. Yeah, fuck yeah, this is very strong.
I significantly increased my testosterone as a 17-year-old teenager, and now I feel fucking amazing. I built this physique.
This looks to me like low testosterone dungeon. Like, like did I show ever? I don't think I ever showed you guys. I don't think I should do, because it's a bit mean, but you guys know how like, because I'm an influencer, other guys kind of treat me sometimes in a weird way of like I say this to my friend. I'm like, when you're an influencer, some guys will treat you like a hot girl, like they're just kind of needy, whatever. I had this one guy who he bought one of the offers or whatever, which was like, oh, you join it on his school, and we'll also do a one-to-one call to help you with your YouTube channel, whatever. And in the details of it, he wrote something like, oh, I have bought this for my brother. He's like a Jeffrey, and you need to help him. And when I read that, I was like, oh, it feels a bit uncomfortable, because I know I'm going to get on this call, and like, does his brother know he's going to go on a call with me, whatever? But I get onto the call, and this guy sat there in a full suit, and he's like, oh, Hamza, it is like a pleasure, like you and I are like the same person and stuff, but you got to help my brother. And I'm like, okay, does your brother know we're going to do this call? He's like, no, like we've tried to help him, but he just like sits in his room. He doesn't do anything. And I swear to God, so I say, okay, let's try. So he goes over to the other room, and he knocks on the door, and I can hear his brother behind the door saying, what? And he's like, your friend's on the phone for you. He's like, my friend? Why would my friend call you? He's like, no, just open the door. Just open the door. It's like awkward as fuck. And I swear to God, I feel like the phone being passed, from the guy who bought the call to his brother. And this is what it looked like this dark fucking room. All I see is like a little bit of light. This kid's in his fucking like dungeon. He's like dark. I see his like the phone light up his face. He looks at me, he goes, that's not my friend, get away from me. And the guy who bought the call, he's like, ow, you're crushing my hand on the door. I'm like, what the fuck? And anyway, like this is what it looked like to me. It's just like a kid in his dark fucking dungeon room, this fucking gooning room. Yeah. So yeah, look, you're talking about testosterone. There's no way you sat down before you. I know why you recorded this, because I said like, hey, just do it now, fast. But there's no way that this came with intention of like, okay, I'm talking about testosterone. Like, let's make my room really, really dark and have no natural light in here. It's like that was unintentional. So you've already you took action on this. I know for a fact you watched the course, and when I said, okay, just fucking do it right now, you did it. Now this is the beauty of like when you take action fast. you could iterate each part of your business and you almost like Frankenstein, like a new version of it. So this is like, I would change this. I would have you sat outside. It's similar to like one of the last calls we went on, Marin. I'm not sure if you saw that one, but like we had a guy whose niche was dogs, like diet for dogs. I think you saw, yeah. So all of his videos were like just inside of his bedroom, like next to his gaming computer, like fucking League of Legends playing or some shit like that. There was no dog or anything like that. And then we all said like, oh, like just have a fucking dog in the video. Like why you sat on your gaming computer chair, sit on the floor, have a cute little dog playing with you. And then he wrote something in the chat like, oh yeah, shit, like I don't even know why I didn't do that. So it's the same thing for you. We're talking about the natural way of life. You sat here in like a modern day, climate controlled room. Doesn't make sense. Go sit on a fucking tree. Go sit in direct sunlight, be shirtless and say like, yeah, see boys, this is the way you gotta live. So that's the big lesson for you here to get to the next level is let's have more intention with you've chose your niche, you've taken action, which is awesome. So you're already ahead of like the competition for a lot of guys. They haven't even started this. They haven't even made the sales page. But now we want to iterate and just improve on this. We want you outside in the sunlight and any other like primal things you can think of to add into this kind of look that you're going for. Like I would even say like ditch the jewelry as well. Look like you're a primal caveman. Like the more you can look like a caveman, the better that this is going to be for you. W's in the chats, boys. I like that you've finalized the niche as well. Like you tried a few different niches and now you've got this one, which is good. So you've got potential there, bro. When your test results come back for your testosterone check, that'll be nice to see you add that into your hook. And then let's go next video. This is from Sam, and he says new vid and then my school. So you got a sale today, which is awesome. Let's see some.
I'm 15 and I've made over $6,000 by selling a
fucking sick. Perfect. Bro, how 2 seconds in, 2 seconds in, you're already like, okay, fair enough. He makes more money than me, asshole. 2 seconds in, bro. Fuck yeah.
I'm 15 and I've made over $6,000 by selling a product to my audience on this exact YouTube channel. I've already changed countless other young men's lives and I've already helped so many to get their first sale. And so if you give this video your full undivided...
I didn't like when you said I've already changed countless.
I'm 15 and I've made over $6,000 by selling a product to my audience on this exact YouTube channel.
That was sick.
I've already changed countless other...
This made me like you less. Not in like an insecure way of like, I mean, I as a creator know what you're saying. Oh yeah, it's countless. It is thousands of people who have been influenced by your videos. But when you give like data and a statistic and it's like a literal, oh, I've made $6,000. It's like, okay, that's the proof. When you say something like, oh, I've helped countless or something, it gets a bit vague and it's like, it makes me almost not want to listen to the first thing you said. So when we're giving proof in our hook, it's kind of like talking to a girl. Remember like my red pill course where I said to you guys, like when you're talking to a girl, the less you say, the better. Talk less, because when you talk more, you have more chances of saying some autistic shit and like stepping on your own dick. It's kind of similar to that where it's like, you want to say enough that people will respect you and they'll like you and they'll listen to you, but you don't want to blab on too much, especially, if it's a story or something, okay, that makes sense. But if it's like, a piece of data or a statistic, I've helped thousands of people, say one thing and then let's just move on. If the video is a bit general, like I recorded a video recently, which was like how to not be a loser, something like that. So that's going to be like, a few different areas of life. So it was going to be like fitness and dating and money and whatever. So in that one, I said like 3 things. I was like, I've got a 10 out of 10 physique. I attracted this girl and I make money, whatever. That's okay, because it's 3 different things. But when it is a specific one niche video, I would say just say one thing. That's it. Just tell us one thing and stick with that. As the moment you make it a little bit more broad and vague, you kind of lost a little bit of the power there. Like at first it was like a power statement. Then it felt like, oh, like really needy, like you're really trying to fuck the girl. Like, oh yeah, and like I'll get you a ride home as well. And we only live like a minute away. I could get you some alcohol. You want? It's like, just relax. You already had her in the first half, bro.
Other young men's lives, and I've already helped so many to get their first sale. And so if you give this video your full undivided attention for its duration, then I can guarantee you'll be able to copy what I've done. I'm not like anyone else on YouTube, and I will change your life. So right now, yes, right now, put this video on full screen and go and find somewhere you can make your notes, because this is life-changing. My name is Sam Millison, and with the 3 points I'm going to teach you today, you will know exactly why I've realized we should never ever quit entrepreneurship and why I'm making my own return to entrepreneurship. In September of 2024, I got my biggest sale.
That's a very strong start. Very strong. That was all one take, I think, as well. Fuck yeah.
had paid me $500 to help him basically just improve his own YouTube channel and improve how he could sell to his audience. And it was around about that time in September that I was just getting back into entrepreneurship and I was just building back up my business, because in the spring previous, in spring of 2024, I was doing coaching on how to sell a product to your audience, and it completely and utterly blew up and it went really, really well. I got up to 2K a month and I was only 14 at the time. And I felt like the man. I felt like I was him. I felt like, and it sounds cringe to say, I felt like I was the alpha. And life was just going so good during this point where my coaching blew up in spring. But then in summertime, when summer came around, I fell into this horrible, horrible rut. And essentially what happened was I got addicted to video games again. And I lost everything. My entire business, I lost it. I went down to no clients. And my income went down to nothing. And I went broke, completely, completely broke. But then in September and October, I started building it back up again, and I got that $500 sale, and I got a couple of the smaller sales on top of that, and it was starting to go really, really well, and I was starting to feel that energy come back to me, that, like, it sounds so cringe to say, I know, but that alpha energy, it started to come back to me. I started to finally feel like I was him again. I was no longer living in the shadow of my former self. I was now, like raising myself back up out of the depth of that rut. But then December comes around, and in specific, it was December 6th at about 7 a.m. in the morning. That was the time I quit entrepreneurship, and that was because I had this realization, and it is a realization that ended up changing my life, and this realization was that I should become a filmmaker. I'd realized that all my life, I'd love making videos, inspiring people with films and cinematics and editing stuff to make it feel good and everything, and getting beautiful shots. I'd always loved doing that. And so I went all in on it, and I quit entrepreneurship, and I said goodbye to money. I said, money, I no longer need you, and I left it. And I dropped my desire for money completely. I literally had no desire for money, because I was just so focused on making my films and inspiring other people with my films. And for the whole month of December, and for most of January too, I kind of just, aimlessly wandered through creativity with this filmmaking. I made my first 2 films also, if you could even call them films. I didn't have a camera or anything at that point. They were both just like documentaries of my life in a way, and I really enjoyed making those films, but there was just no mission for them. There was absolutely no mission for them at all. I kind of had a general idea, yeah, I'd want to inspire some people with what I'm doing with my films, but I didn't really have a strong mission for why I was making them. I was just doing it because I kind of enjoyed that creative process, and I was making it to make myself feel good about it. But I knew I needed a mission. I knew I needed to have a strong mission that when I would wake up in the morning, it would be the first thing I think of, because previously with entrepreneurship, I had that. I'd wake up, entrepreneurship. That was the first thing I would think of. But when I had this filmmaking, I would think of it, but it was never like, I have to do this. It wouldn't get me up early in the morning feeling.
So this is more of a personal video, personal story, which is fine. What I will say is it definitely would serve you to relate it to the viewer more. So there's nothing wrong with just telling like a personal story. Oh, I woke up, I jacked off 3 times, and then I went downstairs, and then I handshaked my father or some shit. Okay, that makes sense. But you should try to not really interject, if you're telling a very specific story. But you should try, and all of you should try, that even when we're speaking about ourselves, you relate it to the viewer. So when Sam mentioned here, like, okay, I was making like 2,000, and then I stopped giving a shit about money. What would have been nice is you saying, and that'll happen to you. Listen, you probably don't make money right now, but I promise when you make a couple $1,000s, especially when you're young, it's probably going to happen to you. You don't think it will. And so then after that, and then go back to like telling the details about your life. Because people can extrapolate, when you tell a really good story, people can take the lesson and put it towards themselves. That particularly is true when you've done a really, really almost like word for word story, like the Matthew Dix type of story where it's like 45 seconds long. It's so concise. You've done it word for word. Those stories, don't interject them with the little, making it for the viewer. If you're telling a story which is more like, I call it myself like a timeline story, where you say, okay, in 2020 I was doing this, and then 3 months later I did this, and then a week later I did this. That's very different from like what Matthew Dix, like our storytelling coach, actually said. Because like a story, when we're making it for more of a sort of a personal thing, that's going to be super concise, and it's going to be first person, and it's going to be, you'll know the start and the end. So it's like a specific moment. Oh, the day I woke up, and then I jacked off, and then I went downstairs, and then I think my mom knew. That should be, 1 minute, 2 minutes, even 5 minutes. And you don't interject in the middle of that, because you're going to make it very specific. When you're doing more of a timeline story, which is like you're plotting dates on the graph and saying, okay, and then 3 months later I did this, and then my life really went downhill, I was jacking off and whatever. You're not telling a specific moment. If you're telling the timeline stories, I really think interjecting and relating it to the audience every like 1 minute, just for a few seconds, just so they kind of like, oh yeah, shit, okay, yeah, oh, it's gonna happen to me. Because when you said this, I was interested, but I have a feeling that a lot of the guys watching this who have never made money before, to them, it's like their mind's blank because they're just thinking, okay, this guy made money, but then he stopped caring about money. It doesn't mean anything to them. When you say, and listen, right now you probably don't make money, but it's going to happen to you. It happens to everyone. When you make more than enough money for you, like I'm 15 and I made 2K, after that, you'll stop caring. And then the problem is, and then you back to the timeline. And then what happened after that was that I got really depressed, whatever.
Cinematics and editing anything at that point. They were both just like documentaries of my life in a way, and I really enjoyed making those films. But there was just no mission for them. There was absolutely no mission for them at all. I kind of had a general idea. Yeah, I'd want to inspire some people with what I'm doing with my films, but I didn't really have a strong mission for why I was making them. I was just doing it because I kind of enjoyed that creative process, and I was making it to make myself feel good about it. But I knew I needed a mission. I knew I needed to have a strong mission that when I would wake up in the morning, it would be the first thing I think of. Because previously with entrepreneurship, I had that. I'd wake up, entrepreneurship. That was the first thing I would think of. But when I had this filmmaking, I would think of it, but it was never like, I have to do this. It wouldn't get me up early in the morning, feeling excited to work. It didn't give me that like vigor, It didn't give me that like pure, strong vigor that I feel like I could just go and like punch life with it, if that makes sense. I was just drifting with no strong masculine intent. And that's when I realized that I do in fact need a mission. And so I tried to combine filmmaking with a new mission I had. And this new mission I had was to inspire other guys like myself to get into their own passions and to get into what their dreams are, to basically follow their dreams. And that was my mission. And so a couple of weeks ago, I decided to go all in on this mission. And I kind of combined it with filmmaking. And I started up this like school community and everything. And even without actually selling a paid product, I still managed to make some money just because of the new mindset I had with this mission. Instead of just like aimlessly doing whatever felt good regarding filmmaking, it was now, if this doesn't align to this mission of inspiring more guys to follow their dreams, then it's out. And this new mission to help other guys to follow their dreams with this new school community I had, it was like a free school community, it's gone now. But it gave me a new mission, and it made me feel like how entrepreneurship made me feel. And so I decided, you know what, I'm actually going to come back to entrepreneurship. And I made that decision to come back to entrepreneurship and start selling a paid product once again. And since going back to entrepreneurship, life has been even better than it was before. Life was already great doing filmmaking, but since combining entrepreneurship...
This is like half a life update video, which is fine because so much has happened in Sam's life in the last like year or so. He made money, then he stopped caring about money. Now he wants to make money again. So you're giving an update to the guys who follow you, so that's good. What I would say is your next video, which is it's like I'd want you to make it way more specifically for getting a sale. I would say title it like, 74 minutes of entrepreneurship lessons I wish I knew at the start, something like that, whatever. It's like, it's just a value-packed video. And I would tell one of these same stories, but it is just maybe 1 minute long, 2 minutes long. And it's like, number 3, with the thing that I wish I knew when I was starting a business was, once you make a couple K, you might get complacent because it's more than you've ever made before and you don't need it. Then you tell this story, for example. So this is way more of like a life update video. For the next videos going forward, we want to make sure they're way more targeted for what we're selling here. This one still is, by the way, but this is still like half life update, half value. There's lessons inside of it, but this is more just the guys who already care about you. That a lot of the people who will buy this will be the guys who, in the future, they'll be just clicking on your video because you promised them some benefit to entrepreneurship. So a more concise and targeted video would work better. Let's have a look at your sales page. Nice. Yes, pretty sweet. Yeah, the copy is pretty strong, yeah. Let's make the perfect sales page. This was the only thing that came out to me. I don't think the people who are looking at this would even know what this means. So I'd probably reword it to be like copy-paste templates to start your business faster. Just like that. I think because we're selling to complete beginners who most likely haven't even begun. Yeah, copy-paste templates for all parts of your business, something like that. Or even honestly, just copy and paste templates or what's the other phrase? Plug and play template, something like that. And then that's it, honestly. Just something like that. Copy paste templates to start your business faster. That's the exact phrase I would probably write. Copy paste templates to start your business faster. Fuck yeah, that's a good picture. Let's have a look at the VSL.
I made $6,000 by selling a product to my audience on my YouTube channel with just 1.7k subscribers at 15 years old while still in school, and It changed my life.
That was very intentional. As soon as he says 15 years old, there's a video of him wearing school uniform.
At 15 years old,
That's fucking awesome, man. Nice.
while still in school, and it changed my life. It gave me the freedom to buy literally anything I could want, buying a new camera, decorating my room, getting all the Spotify and YouTube premium subscriptions. It gave me the freedom to not have to worry about money, and it made my parents and people at school actually start to truly respect me and actually start to take me seriously in online business and actually see me as someone who's different. And it made me so much more attractive to girls. It made it so much easier to talk to girls because now they would see me as someone who's actually doing something with his life, rather than like most people who say, yeah guys, I'm gonna go achieve something, and they never actually go and achieve it. I'm making money online, let me get onto the healthiest diet I could possibly want of literally just meat and eggs, and now I just feel so mentally clear. My mental health is just so good because of this. And it let me join the higher echelons of entrepreneurs. Hamza, I go repeater, rough, learning.
I'd probably take that diet bit out because this for our culture makes sense. I think this might confuse a lot of the guys who would be eventually clicking on this sales page. So you've just got to remember the culture we have in an Adonis school is different to the culture of the people who would click on your sales page links. We have like inside jokes. We've got understanding that, remember, like carnivore still is not anywhere near like a widely accepted thing. And now you've just kind of told people like this weird thing where they're like, oh, well, that's wrong. Oh, well, he said, no, but meat's not even healthy though. And it's like you've almost lost their trust because, you know, they're a bit of a fucking retard. So I would probably trim anything like that out. So far, it was all great. And it's not a serious mistake, but it's just you've got to be careful to think we want this to appeal to someone who isn't very much in the same culture as us.
I'm making money online, let me get onto the healthiest diet I could possibly want of literally just meat and eggs, and now I just feel so mentally clear. My mental health is just so good because of this. And it let me join the higher echelons of entrepreneurs. Hamza, I go repeater, rough, learning from guys who are way above me for free. And overall, it just made me feel like a fucking alpha. And I know that probably sounds so cringe, but it's literally the best word I can use to describe it. I now feel like I'm him. I now feel like I'm actually doing something with my life. I now feel like I'm actually fulfilling my potential. And you probably relate to me in this. You probably feel like you've always like been destined for something greater than what you're currently at. And I've always felt that way. I've always felt like I'm destined, like I'm special for something so much bigger than myself. And now that I'm actually doing this, and now I'm actually building success and differentiating myself from everyone else, I actually feel like I'm fulfilling my potential. I actually feel like I'm looking in that I'm different and I'm not just the same as everyone else. And it just feels so great now that I know that I'm not the same as everyone else. And now with this course, I'm going to teach you literally everything I know that got me to this beautiful point I'm at now. All the little secrets, all the big secrets, all the applicable knowledge, all the theories, all the mindsets, every single lesson I've learned from all those big names I mentioned earlier. Literally, absolutely everything I'm going to teach you, and it is going to change your life. And just imagine how epic it's going to feel when you wake up that one morning and you scroll down on your email notifications, and there's an email saying that someone just bought your product for $500. And now you are a true entrepreneur. And now this goal you've always had your entire life of making money online, you've now finally achieved it, and you feel so good. You feel like you're finally different from everyone else who says they're going to achieve stuff but never actually does it. And you feel absolutely epic. And furthermore, you've now got $500 to spend on literally whatever you want. And to achieve this, you literally just had to put a singular hour of deep focus work in each morning, and you had to invest like $200. And now this long-time goal you've had of making money online, you've now achieved it, and now your parents actually respect you, and your parents now see you as a serious young man who's achieving his goals instead of just a little kid. And I want to teach you literally everything to be able to do this for less than a fifth of what Hamza's Adonis school costs. I'm going to teach you all the secrets, all the methods, all the controversial mindsets that will get you to this beautiful success, and it will save you over $800. And not only that, you'll have access to all of this for life. You come in, you study what I will teach you, you go away, you make a fuck ton of money, and then you come back and recap it whenever you need to. I could easily charge you over $500 or even $1,000 for what I'm going to teach you, because I've dedicated the past year and a half of my life into learning this. All the hundreds of early mornings waking up at 5 a.m., all the failures and moments where I've just been so lost, not knowing what to do, all of it has been dedicating into learning this, into learning how to make a fuck ton of money. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do this for simply just $200 and a little bit of your time. So here's a bit more about who I am. So I'm Sam Millison, and I'm a 15-year-old from Coventry in England, and I've made over $6,000 from selling a product to my audience on my YouTube channel. And doing this, it just made my confidence so incredibly good. It's improved my self-image like crazy, and other people see this confidence in me now too. My parents actually respect me and take me seriously in online business. Other people see this confidence in me and see that I'm actually different and not like most of the guys. And good girls actually find this shit so attractive when you're actually achieving your goals. And it's just made my life so epic since making this money. But I was not always like this.
This is very strong. What was coming to my mind is just some of the phrases you're using here. I think that the people who will be watching this, it's potentially a little bit backwards, which okay, so make a fuck ton of money, nice. By selling a product to your audience, it's kind of assuming they've got an audience and they're like, oh, I don't have an audience, I'm not sure about that. I would make it the pitch a bit more simple, which is like, make a fuck ton of money by starting a YouTube channel and selling a product or something like that, which it kind of like clarifies it a bit more to them. There was something else here as well. I think it was this. So, and yeah, this bit here, like get a high ticket sale. The kind of person who'd be interested in this probably doesn't know what this means. So just bear that in mind. It's like you should all of you should know who your ideal customer is, and you've got to think what is their understanding, not yours. Many of us, what we're doing wrong is we are assuming they know as much about us that we do. So we use terms that they don't know. We'll use terms like high ticket sale. But some people might not know what that is. And you'll be surprised when you have like one phrase that someone doesn't understand. they can just drop off. Like maybe 20% of the people who see the sales page will drop off if you say something which they don't understand. You know, their brain kind of like gets stuck when they read this. Like by selling a product to your audience, and they're like, "Oh, what product? I don't know what product to sell." And it's like just that you've lost like 5% of people just because they're fucking retards. And you know, intelligent people would be like, "Oh, I assume he's gonna teach me what product. Okay, I'll watch." But some people, literally 10, 20 people who would potentially have bought from you, when they read your audience, they'll be like, I don't know what that means. So imagine if it was make a fuck ton of money by starting YouTube and selling a product there. By starting, even to make it simple, just make a fuck ton of money by starting YouTube. Just simple. No one like not understands that, right? Super, super simple there. Sam, what age is the guys who have bought from you already?
For so long, for absolutely ages. I would wake up every single morning at 5 a.m. and put the grind in and try and put the hard work in to try and figure this out, to try and figure out how to get people to buy my products and try and figure out how to get money. And it just would not work. I would send out thousands of DMs. I would go on loads and loads of sales calls. I'll put so much work in just to trying to figure out how to get.
I'm assuming they're all in school as well. Maybe I'd add that in. Make a fuck ton of money whilst you're still in school by starting a YouTube channel. So now we're getting super niche, because by making it even more specific to kids in school, you get to highlight one of the biggest achievements, which is that you were so young whilst also in school doing this. Because the thing is, you might think, oh, but what if someone's not in school? The thing is, if someone's not in school and they're like fucking 20 years old, they're probably not going to buy from you. It's just, especially as men, it's like we disrespect goes downwards, basically. If you're younger than me, you're a piece of shit, basically. If you're better than me at League, you're a hacker. It's like that. So I would say you make it specific enough, which is, okay, it's your age group. You can be the leader of them. You can't really be the leader of guys who are like 20 years old. That's more like my avatar that I'm going for. So I would say, make a fuck ton of money whilst you're still in school, by starting a YouTube channel. And then the next sentence could be without constantly trying to figure out what the best thing to do is, or without wasting time on consuming more business content or something like that. Without wasting time feeling productive, watching pointless content, something like that, which digs the knife into them, because a lot of people they waste time and they're constantly thinking which business model as well. But very strong VSL, very strong video, man. W in the chat for Sam. Huge improvement, bro. Awesome to see. Not a surprise that you got your first sale already. And then keep us updated with what happens with the other two guys. Okay, next one. Ole said, I'm in the social skills niche. I felt lonely after moving to Spain. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, the new thumbnails look nice. This kind of style works really well these days, like the nice picture of someone and then the little bit of a caption there as well. Let's go. That's the possible. Okay, we'll watch some of the newest ones. Let's have a look.
The room was bright, white, and absolutely lifeless. The only things that were in this room was a bed, a few beeping machines, and an IV that was strapped into my arm. It was September of 2023, and it was supposed to be the start of an exciting new chapter in my life. It was going to be the start of high school. But instead of starting this new chapter at school, I started it in the hospital. And after 6 hours of solitude with no one other than my thoughts, finally another human being walked into the room. However, after I heard what she had to say, I wanted her to leave as soon as possible. She came into the room to tell me that the doctors didn't really know what was wrong with me, and they had to do more tests in order to find out what it was. So it meant I had to stay in the hospital for a few more days.
This strikes me as someone who's optimized their story for text, but not for video / like conversation. Like if the captions, what he was writing, the words he's saying was in a book, it'd be sick. That'd be a good story. It'd be interesting. It doesn't come across as well, in my opinion. So you've got to be careful when you're telling stories. If you script your stories and then you're maybe reading one sentence and then you say it, it doesn't come across as well. What would have been better is if he had a couple of rough points he knew in the story that he wanted to mention. Okay, so it starts with him in the hospital, and then it goes to him. I don't know. He's really lonely. No one comes to visit him. Whatever. Saying that in a conversational way would have sounded way better. But when you write your story out, it kind of it feels kind of wrong. Does anyone else feel that way? Like, just type one in the chat. Does it feel like
the room was bright, white, and absolutely
like it feels like a I don't know, like a school show and tell, something, you know, like something like that, like a fucking awkward kid stood at the front of the class, he's like shitting himself, and he has to like read out his poem or something. It reminds me, anyone else, like, I don't mean to shit on him, but I feel like that I was hooked as well. That's the interesting thing. I was actually still hooked because the words he's saying are strong. It just feels a little bit off because you can tell it's like, you can tell it's quite scripted. It's like this was
The room was bright, white, and absolutely lifeless. The only things that were in this room was a bed.
yeah, I think you get what I mean. What I would say is when you are going to tell a concise, like pretty specific story, just be careful scripting it word for word. Maybe the first sentence, so the room was really bright, whatever. But really ask yourself, like, would you say that in a conversation? Like, imagine if you're having a conversation with your friend, and he's telling you a story, and he kind of describes it like this.
The room was bright, white, and absolutely lifeless.
You wouldn't speak to your friend like that, would you? Imagine if yeah, I think that's a good way to explain it. Imagine how you would speak to your friend when you're going to tell a story which is very specific, as in like, okay, I woke up and then I jacked off and then I went downstairs. Like, it's specific, first person, it's happening right now. Don't make it so it sounds like, it doesn't sound like a conversational style. What might have been better was something like, I was in the hospital last month. Straight away, it's like, okay, he sounds like a human being. That's how you'd tell a story to your friend. Be like, oh, I was in the hospital last month, and when I woke up from the anesthetic thing, and then the girl was there, whatever. It sounds a bit more real. Like, this is what I meant by like this feels like it's in a book. Like in a book, they write like this. Oh yeah, the room. Jack was laid up in the room, and it was really bright, whatever. Because there isn't a visual component to it.
Was a bed, a few beeping machines, and an IV that was strapped into my arm. It was September of 2023, and it was supposed to be the start of an exciting new chapter in my life. It was going to be the start of high school. But instead of starting this new chapter at school, I started it in the hospital. And after 6 hours of solitude with no one other than my thoughts, finally another human being walked into the room. However, after I heard what she had to say, I wanted her to leave.
I would have started this as the
solitude
hook,
with
right?
I started it in the hospital. And after
This sentence was strong. I actually think this should have been the start.
this new chapter at school, I started it in the hospital.
Instead of I don't know, September, like instead of starting September at school, I started it in the hospital. Imagine if that was the first second of the video, you'd be like, oh shit, what happened straight away?
And after 6 hours of solitude with no one other than my thoughts, finally another human being walked into the room. However, after I heard what she had to say, I wanted her to leave as soon as possible. She came into the room to tell me that the doctors didn't really know what was wrong with me, and they had to do more tests in order to find out what it was. So it meant I had to stay in the hospital for a few more days, which would mean that my biggest fear would become a reality. You see, at the start of new school, everyone is a stranger, right? And the first few days of school are usually the times where people start checking each other out. They start seeing who are their friends, who are their people, who they vibe with, and friendships start forming. And because I would be at the hospital, I would miss out on all of this. And that is why, in September of 2023, this was the loneliest week of my entire life. Quickly, if you're new here, my name is Ollie, and I'm on a mission to cure young men's loneliness. I changed my social life completely. I went from a little kid whose social anxiety ruled his life to a young man who's got a vibrant social circle now, with people I can talk to, people I can be with, people that can listen, and people that care about me. And the thing is, you can do it too, because it wasn't very hard. So what actually happened when my first day of school rolled around? Well, you see,
That felt a little bit abrupt to me. I'd say never stop a story to do the whole YouTube thing of like, oh, let me just introduce myself, whatever. Do that afterwards. And to be honest, if you're going to tell a very detailed story, I might even just skip that little YouTube thing of like, oh, by the way, if you don't know me, my name's this and this and this. If your video is like 50% or something, it's like a minute, 2 minutes straight of just a personal, specific story, I probably then wouldn't have, oh, by the way, and also my name is Hamza and stuff, because you've kind of done that. Just see how that would work in a video where there isn't a big story at the start, where we're like, oh, this is my physique. I'm going to teach you how to gain muscle. By the way, my name's Hamza, and I started weightlifting 10 years ago. That would work really well, because I've not really told you that much about myself, but that little introduction helps you. When you've already told us a really detailed story, it's like at that point, you don't need to also tell us your name, because it's like we already feel connected to you. So this felt a little bit abrupt to me, because it actually stopped the story halfway.
whose social circle now, with people that can listen, that care. What actually happened when my first day of school rolled around? Well, you see, because of all the social anxiety I just mentioned, my heart stopped when I entered into the common room. I was exactly right. There were groups of people scattered around the common room. Everyone had already found their friends, and I was all alone. But come on, it was time to make some friends, so I gathered up some courage, and I directed my feet towards one of the groups of people. I get closer and closer. I'm shaking, my heart is pounding, and I take a left turn. I completely ignore the group of people. Completely. I spent that entire first day of school talking to no one but the teacher. This is so unnatural for me, bro. I want you to understand this. This is so weird because I am such a talkative guy. I love talking to people. I am the definition of an extrovert. And I wish someone just gave me a backhand slap that day and told me the piece of advice that I needed to hear. The piece of advice that I needed to hear, and I'm going to tell you right now, is turn off your brain. It's the biggest piece of advice I needed in countless of social situations that I've encountered. Turn off your brain. I, myself, and you probably as well, am a chronic overthinker, which I really shouldn't be, because most of the time it does me more harm than it does good. When I was in the common room, I started getting ruminating thoughts like, what would I think of me? What would they say? Will they gossip around me when I leave the conversation? What do I even talk about to begin with? All I had to do was turn off my brain and lower the standard of the conversation that I needed to have. All I needed was a way for me to go from a stranger to an acquaintance. This was the first step to becoming a friend. Simple conversations would have done the trick. Like, hey man, nice to meet you. My name is Ollie. And I would shake their hand, and I would go, what subjects do you do, bro? It's such a simple fucking conversation, but I couldn't come up with the idea to do this. I didn't even know how. I was too afraid of being awkward and being lonely. And at that moment in time, I would rather be lonely than go through the discomfort of talking to a stranger. If you'd like to become more social and completely destroy your social anxiety and fix your loneliness, the top link in the description is where you'll find me.
Have a look. Any feedback for that video? So we're selling coaching, yeah. Ali, how come you didn't go with the product that I suggested in the blueprint? So sending them directly to a course first.
Okay, this is not one of those.
Let's have a look at his other one.
Okay, this is not one of those videos where I just pat your shoulder and say, oh, it's fine, don't cry, it's gonna be fine. We're here to fix our insecurity, okay? What is insecurity? Let's answer that question first. Insecurity, if we think about it, is kind of just a lack of confidence in a certain area. Here's one example. I used to never be able to hold eye contact with people, especially women, or, well, girls. But ever since I started speaking to more girls, I started developing my confidence slowly. Now, when I'm speaking to a girl, I speak to them how they're just supposed to be spoken to. People. I used to pedestalize them. But that's not what this video is about. Because let's say, after speaking to a girl, I sit down at a table and a nerd challenges me to a game of chess. Do you think I would have the same confidence? No, I would be very insecure about my ability because I'm very competitive and I want to win, but I'll be insecure about losing. There you go. In day-to-day life, we go through cycles of being insecure and then not insecure at all. For instance, a key sign of insecurity is someone who apologizes and says sorry very, very frequently. You know that guy? Maybe you're that guy. They always say sorry even though they haven't really done anything. Because their survival instinct is people-pleasing and over-apologizing because they don't want to be hurt. That's why it's called apologetic survivalism. Now that we've kind of defined what insecurity is, let me introduce myself first. My name's Ollie and I've been socially anxious for most of my life. And you know how it's normal to go through
This introduction works a lot better for this video.
like an insecure phase in puberty. I felt like for me as if I've had that phase since I was 6 years old until I was around 17. So 9 years of anxiety and insecurity were completely vanished after I implemented some small changes into my life. But here's the thing, it wasn't very hard, nor was it very easy, so you can do it too. If you'd like to personally speak to me, the top link in the description is my Instagram. Go and send me a DM, bro. So now that we've learned that insecurity is kind of just a lack of confidence in a certain area, we now know how to deal with the problem. But first, I want you to get a notebook out and write down on a page an area that you think you're insecure in. Is it talking to people? Is it holding eye contact with people? Is it knowing what to say? Maybe you're uncomfortable with silence. If these things are the case, if any of these, maybe all of them are the case, write them down. Because the first step to solving a problem is writing it down. If we never identify the problem to begin with, how the fuck do we expect to fix it? You don't want to live your life in insecurity, do you? Because let's be honest with ourselves, you would much rather be a confident guy than an insecure loser, would you? Maybe when you see someone speaking in public, or you see one of your friends walking up to a group of girls, you can't help.
Yeah, a few people in the chat are saying it's giving me buddy vibes. And I think the reason why is because you'd watch the video for free, but you probably wouldn't buy from him. That basically means that his video is actually pretty good. It's valuable. It's just that he hasn't presented himself as the expert to buy from. So that's interesting because I think 3 different people have said that in the chat. So I appreciate, by the way, boys, when we're reviewing these videos, make sure you put your ideas in the chat to give him a feedback as well. So for that, I would say, since the constraint is we can post the video's good. It actually gets a good amount of views and everything, but we don't really think that this is the type of guy that we'd want to buy from. That means that around here, when he mentioned his credibility, like, oh, you know, I used to be insecure, and then his pictures of me with girls, we need him to like demonstrate himself expert, which he hasn't really done here. You can somewhat do that through your advice. If, for example, your advice is so good that it has that sort of click in someone's brain where they're like, holy shit, this guy knows like exactly what he's talking about, then that will work. And that works more so for very tactical things, like, for example, business, which is like, I can prove to you I'm credible because I can give a business tip, for example, and you'll know it's going to work almost right away when I say it. Like, you know, I'll say, oh, the hook, and he touched his face and he shouldn't have done that in the first 10 seconds because it was unintentional. You kind of can see the point there very quickly, and he's like, oh, Hamza's picked up on something that I didn't really know about. When your niche is something which isn't as tactical and it's a bit more of a vague thing like human relationships, we need more of your credibility, more of like you saying very clearly, this is where you've got to. So you can do a transformation, which is like, I used to be insecure. In fact, on the first day of school, I didn't even speak to anyone because I was so not confident, and all the friends from primary school. And now I've got a beautiful girlfriend, and this is my friendship group, and we have like a group chat, which is so funny. And brought us all together, and we all went out for dinner last night. My social life's awesome, and I'm going to help you to get a social life like this as well. That would have positioned himself as more of a credible expert that then you'd be more likely to trust. So I think we just kind of like, we went over it, but I don't think it was strong enough in this particular video.
Write them down. Because the first step to solving a problem is writing it down. If we never identify the problem to begin with, how the fuck do we expect to fix it? You don't want to live your life in insecurity, do you? Because let's be honest with ourselves, you would much rather be a confident guy than an insecure loser, would you? Maybe when you see someone speaking in public, or you see one of your friends walking up to a group of girls, you can't help but feel a little bit of jealousy. How the fuck did I do that? But then when it's your turn, you struggle. You wish you could crumple to the ground. By identifying a problem, we take the first step by fixing it. Similar with a drug addict. The first step to fixing their addiction is admitting that they have a drug problem. So Ollie, how do we actually build that confidence to fix our insecurity? Good question. First, I want you to know that insecurity is not fixed like that, but by viewing it as kind of like how you would in a video game, by slowly becoming more skillful in a certain area, we're fixing our insecurity. Someone that is really good at kickboxing would be really confident in the kickboxing ring, but when it comes to solving a math problem, for example, he's not very confident. But let's say he starts practicing math questions outside of his kickboxing lessons. Day by day, he's improving, and day by day, his insecurity becomes less. Imagine the video game that you used to play. Were there any challenges or quests or anything of that sort in your video game? And if there were, did you always get them or complete them first try? For my video game, I definitely didn't. But what, after trying one try, did I quit the video game? No, I didn't. I kept reloading another game. I kept trying and trying again until I completed the quest. Because upon completing the quest, there's usually a reward at the end, right? We get rewarded for doing the difficult thing. So why is it that after you experience one awkward moment, or one moment when your insecurity, your thought, becomes a reality, you think, oh, it's going to be awkward, I'm not going to know what to say, and then guess what? You do not end up knowing what to say. So next time you end up in a social situation, you just hide in a corner or become avoidant. Just like in the video game, life rewards us for doing the difficult thing, for getting out there, and keep trying again. So start viewing life as a video game, bro. Slowly developing our skills. If your insecurity is talking to people, try to speak to more people daily. One question I usually ask to girls in the gym is, excuse me, what time does the gym close? I don't really care when the gym closes. I'm just here to improve the skill of talking to people, especially to women. You're a good man for watching videos like this, dude. Using tactics like these, my social skills started improving drastically.
Nice, man. Yeah, so he said he's got the coaching link right now, but then he'll switch to school. So, yeah, pretty good. I'd say probably the constraint for you, your advice is good. And the video was like, it was pretty entertaining. Anyone else agree? Type 1 in the chat. It was like, I actually felt like watching that. His speaking skills, very like delightful to listen to. I just wouldn't have bought from him. Any type 2 in the chat if you agree with that as well. It's like it was enjoyable to watch. You'd actually subscribe, you'd watch it, but I couldn't imagine me clicking the link and thinking, oh yeah, this is the guy who's gonna fix this problem for me. He might do in his video, and I might learn some things from him, but it didn't have that sort of like commanding energy of like, this is the guy that I've got to learn from. I think, Ollie, you need to go maybe a little bit of a step towards how Sam was presenting himself. You know, in the start of his video, he was like, oh yeah, and I'm going to do this. And if you watch this fully, it's going to give you this kind of result and whatever. You need a little bit more of the sort of conviction of your skill. Right now, it's like you are purposely making yourself like this kind of cool guy who's nice and he's kind and whatever. He's sweet. You need to position yourself. It doesn't need to be angry, like my vibe is, and Sam's was a little bit more of the darker energy. It doesn't need to be the darker energy, but it needs to be more of the certainty of you can help these guys. You need to first start with the belief, and then you need to convey that in the video. If you genuinely believe you can help these guys, and you feel like that's such an important thing for them, convey it in the video within the first like 1-2 minutes, and some kind of convicted sentence of like, I can 100% help you, or in this video it will 100% help you with getting rid of loneliness or insecurity or whatever. Yeah, W's in the chats, boys. So this was an example of someone whose video is very strong, but then what we're lacking is the credibility part. So for his next video, Ollie, I want to see that a little bit stretched out a bit more, where we see like you're more of an expert and you've got the conviction that you think you can help us. Kieran said, please could you review my latest 2 videos and sales page? I'm trying the educational style editing. Impressions have been basically 0. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, I remember the days when I used to post and I'd get like fucking 4 views as well, bro. And they were all me as well. Just me clicking on it to make sure the video's still like working and everything. Okay, let's go. This one. My honest advice for someone looking to get in shape. Thumbnails are pretty strong, you know. Like this, let's say this one here. If this had 1 million views, I wouldn't be surprised just by the thumbnail, right? It's interesting. Okay, let's have a look. So, my honest advice for someone looking to get in shape.
I stepped on the scales for the first time in nearly a year, and after a brief pause, the results were in, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I honestly thought the machine was broken, so I completely ignored it. Came back to the gym the next day, and before my next session, I remeasured, and it was the same result. The machine wasn't broken. Things really had slided that far. I was always quite skinny growing up. I played a lot of sports. I didn't have
That little story he told here of like it being in disbelief of stepping on the scale and you know the number being something he didn't want. That's a pretty good story. It's relatable, and I think it'll actually drive a lot of people to trust you and like you. But I don't think it's a good starting story. What would I would have started this video was right here where you said I was always skinny growing
me
up.
growing up.
That's perfect. That's a strong sentence because it's like okay, straight away we relate to you.
I played a lot of sports. I didn't have any muscle at all really. I was just kind of like skinny. And I'd always kind of want to have like that shredded, like
Yeah.
lean.
So imagine if it was I was always skinny growing up, and this is what I look like now. Straight 5 seconds, it's like straight away we're like, oh shit, he's made a lot of progress. Then you finish off the rest of the story around here that okay, I always wanted the Fight Club physique.
Lean, attractive physique. And after consuming, God, hundreds of hours of fitness content on YouTube, this was the result. I was 21% body fat. I had very little muscle. I wasn't that consistent in the gym. I didn't have any visible abs. And I was getting desperate. I needed to make the change. And that was the kick up the arse that I really needed. Luckily, just 10 weeks later, I was able to clean things up. I was able to drop about 8% body fat, and that was 18 pounds of weight. And I had the visible abs that I'd wanted for so long. And in this video, I'm going to give you my own.
Just that before and after. So we've got the this picture and then this one. I think the video should have started right here. Actually, this is what I looked like on the 15th of January. Boom, boom, boom. And this is what I look like now. And in this video, I'm going to show you. I think that would have been a way stronger start rather than what we had here. So this is just the importance of like having a really strong hook. What I would recommend for this is when you are scripting your video, when you're planning it, write down like 5 variants. So you'll have like a page open and you'll write hook, and one of them will be, oh yeah, tell the story of the weight scale and me thinking that you know my weight was wrong or the scale was broken, whatever. Variant number 2 would be tell this thing here, to compare these 2 physiques. Variant number 3 might be to tell a different story. Once you write down a few variants of the hook, sit there for a second and look at all of them and just visualize like what would within 5, 10, 20 seconds make people trust you and think, oh shit, this guy actually made progress in the area that he's talking about. So I actually want to listen to him. Because I think this hook here demonstrates that way more than the previous one. Like this one was like, this is a weak hook, but a relatable story that would have been awesome to see around here when you're giving advice and you're saying, yeah, you know, it's awesome. It's awful when you step on the scale and it doesn't move. But by the way, you know, water weight can change the scale weight, so don't feel bad about it, whatever. That's a good piece of advice, but it's definitely not a strong enough hook. This would have been really cool. Before and after picture. This was my progress in 8 weeks. Straight away, it's like, okay, I'm going to trust you. And here's the 4 things I did to create this. Number 1, eat high protein, whatever.
Someone looking to it for so long. And in this video, I'm going to give you my honest advice to you as someone looking to get in shape and achieve a similar physique. Getting shredded is like building a fire. You don't start by chucking on all the huge logs. You start with a tiny flame and a little bit of kindling, and you give it room to grow. If you pile too much on too soon, you smother it and it just dies out. But if you build it up gradually, then eventually you'll have a fire that grows slow and steady. And it's exactly the same with getting in shape. So point 1 is starting small. Now, when I was trying to get into the gym for the first time, I hear about all these like bodybuilding programs where, you know, you want to train like 6 or 7 times a week. And used to be a competition between friends, like who can train like the most days in a row. And it kind of got a bit out of hand and we didn't really know what we were doing. And I could never stay consistent because I was like, if I can't go like 6 times a week, then what's the point? Like, I'm not going to make any progress. And it wasn't until I found about another way that things actually started to change for me. And that was when I discovered a guy called Kino Body on YouTube, who was preaching about training 3 times a week for just 45 minutes to an hour at a time and building strength that way. And something kind of clicked in my mind, and I thought, you know what, that's actually a lot more achievable. I would just train like Monday, Wednesday, Friday around work, and then I could have my weekends off. And that was like my low barrier to entry. And without lowering that bar, I don't think I would have ever got consistent in the first place, and I'd still be in the position that I was in, just always thinking about going to the gym and always having like these excuses in my head. But now I love going to the gym, and it's something which I look forward to all the time. And I'm able to go like 5 or 6 times a week now for an hour and a half at a time, but without lowering that bar.
Yeah, it's interesting. Paul and Mohammed just said in the chat that they like the analogy here. I actually felt the same way as well, right here, when he said, what was the exact phrase he used?
And achieve a similar physique. Getting shredded is like building a fire.
Getting shredded is like building a fire. Straight away, it's like you want to trust him more just because he's creating like an analogy. He's explaining it in a different way. There was a piece of advice I learned actually a while ago. The phrase was, what was it? Prescribe. Change the diagnosis. So imagine the problem is they're fat. You say to them, no, that's not the problem. The problem is seed oils. It's not that you're eating too much, it's that seed oils are inside. What you've done is you've changed the diagnosis, you re-diagnosed the problem. So that makes people think, oh, damn, this guy actually knows what the real problem is. So this is what I did for you guys on like the self-improvement channel. I was like, it's not porn that's the problem, it's your mental health. And that clicks for one, because it's like, oh, here's the new thing that I did. I've struggled with porn, I've struggled with eating calories, whatever. But Hamza said it's this other thing that I've not tried, and you get this excitement. But also you start thinking the guy who said that to you is a fucking G, like he's an expert, because he knows so much that he knows that like, oh no, it's actually above your level of thinking. So analogies, changing the diagnosis or whatever the phrase was. There was a certain phrase which made it sound cool as fuck, like re-diagnosing the problem or something like that. Those are the kind of things you could do to establish yourself as an expert. So I would say the ideal video starts with like a strong hook, which is like this one here. Here's the progress I made in 8 weeks. I went down from 21% body fat to 8%. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. Getting shredded is like a fire. Imagine that as the video. Like imagine, because we're 1 minute and 39 seconds in, that the hype's already gone off. This was hard. Like this was a fucking great sentence, a great analogy to have. This should have been made like 10 seconds in. All of this, like before this picture was pretty weak. And after this picture, it got strong as fuck. I would even like just fucking crop out like all of this. And this from here, it very much picked up. The problem with that though is like, 60-70% of people already clicked off by now. So it's the importance of the hook, where like this was very strong, but we did it too late, where now it's not actually going to benefit us that much. So for the next videos for you, Kieran, I want to see a hook which is similar to this, which is like, okay, this was the progress I made in 8 weeks, or I was really skinny, now I'm not. This is what my physique looks like, whatever. Fast-paced hook, which you can show some kind of visual picture of your physique, whatever, within like 5 seconds of you saying something like, this is what my physique looks like, or I lost 20 pounds in 8 weeks, or I tried the carnivore diet for 30 days, whatever, with some pictures, whatever. And then straight away go in with some kind of analogy or some kind of like re-diagnosis of the problem. So you might say, I lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do it. You probably think that counting calories is the right thing, or you probably think that you're overweight because you eat too much, but it's not the case. What's really the problem is this. So that's like a re-diagnosis of the problem, or getting shredded is like building a fire or something.
Building a fire. You don't start by chucking on that. Things actually started to change for me, and that was when and it's something which I look forward to all the time, and I'm able to go like 5 or 6 times a week now for an hour and a half. Trying to get in better shape without doing this next thing is
anyone else super interested, you know, when he was mentioned Kino Body, anyone else actually forget we were reviewing his video and actually think, oh yeah, shit, like, should I go 3 times a week or not? Because I'm not gonna lie, I forgot we were on a call as well. I literally started thinking like, yeah, I'm going to the gym 6 times, should I actually go 3 times? Because this motherfucker's handsome. Like that's the best thing, bro. I know when a video is good, but when I'm reviewing it, I start thinking about the actual content, like, you know, what the guy's preaching, not actually my job of, I was just like enjoying myself here. Like, so this is strong, bro. So this, I'm telling you, what you've done from around here was sick. The analogy was good. Then you tell this story here is powerful because you're like, oh yeah, me and my boys, we would go, but it wasn't really sustainable. Then I found this random guy who said to go 3 times a week. There's so many random ideas I was getting from this. Even I'm 10 years into like fitness and I was still, you made me think about stuff. So that's very strong. So that your speaking skill and your ideas are strong. I think what we needed in this video was just a bit of a rearrangement because this was very strong. This was not as strong, but still actually a good story to tell. But I would have liked to see this around here somewhere when you're talking about checking your weight every day and why it could be also a problem, but it's also good for you, whatever. You just tell the story of like, yeah, you know, I used to step on the scale and it used to fuck up my mental health up until I had this new mindset, which was X. That would be really strong to have around here somewhere as one of the pieces of advice that you're giving in this video.
It's not the case. You're probably going to miss and give up. If someone came up to 21-year-old Kieran and asked me, oh, yeah, how much are you weighing at the moment? What was your starting weight? How much are you bicep curling at the moment? What cardio are you doing every week? I would have had absolutely no idea. And that leads me to point number 2, which is tracking the numbers. And what I've learned is that data is king, and what is measured gets managed. And what is managed is what you're able to make progress on. Now, there were 4 specific free apps that really helped me out.
Nice.
The first one is the Remfo app. These came with my smart scales that measure body composition.
This is another way to show you're credible as well when you just say a number. Oh, there's 5 ways you can improve your face. When someone says that to you, you're like, oh shit, yes sir. Like he said it in a way where you're like, okay, sweet, that's the truth. There's four apps you can use. There's the 3, I don't know, best workout routines or the top workout routines, or there's this thing, whatever. When you give a number, a list, a step, and you say it with a bit of conviction, that makes people instantly just trust you more. So this was like a great thing to add, and you added the informational editing that we spoke about in a previous call, which is good to see as well.
These came with my smart that you can basically input all the data onto a Google Sheet or other document and keep track of the progress, and it turns into a game.
Let's have a look at your program. Achieve the most iconic and attractive male physique in weeks, not years. That's fucking cool. That's a good tagline. In weeks, not years. I might slightly change this. Achieve the most iconic and attractive male physique. It might just be achieve the most attractive male physique in weeks, not years. This is fucking sick. This sentence right here is powerful as fuck. I really like that. Let's have a look at the VSL. This picture is nice here as well.
500 women were shown the physiques of 6
Nice.
different men.
Holy shit. Fuck yeah. Strong ass hook. Straight away, bro. Even if someone's like, they just casually clicked on this link, whatever, straight away, that's going to be interesting as fuck. We're right in with a study. You have to stay. No one's clicking away at this point. No one is literally not going to watch this after they've just heard the first sentence, which is like, oh, there was a study to find which physique is the most attractive. You're going to watch this now. So that hook's very strong.
Men, ranging from 3-time Mr. Olympia Frank Zane to the actor Henry Rollins and even the goth icon Vil Vallow. We're told that all women have different tastes. Some like the big and muscly, some like the more lean and athletic looking, and a lot even like the classic dad bod. So there was a pretty even split in the vote, right? Wrong. It was incredibly one-sided, with 73% of the women choosing just one of those 6 physiques. Can you guess which photo it was? Well, I'm sure you can probably already tell which one it was by the name of this course. It was, of course, the Brad Pitt physique from the film Fight Club. I used to be skinny fat, over 20% body fat in fact. I had no ab definition, I didn't have much muscle, I hated what I saw in the mirror, and I just wasn't a very confident person at all. And in the space of just 10 weeks, I was able to completely change things around and achieve this Brad Pitt physique that I'd always wanted. I'd got the visible abs, I was increasing my strength, I was consistent in the gym for the first time, and I just loved working out and seeing all this progress. I'll tell you exactly what I did to achieve it, and once you figure these things out, you're going to be absolutely stunned at how simple it really is, and you're going to wish that you knew this information before. As a bonus, I've done a deep dive to find out the exact training and nutrition program that Brad Pitt actually used in preparation and during the filming of Fight Club.
Fuck yeah.
And it's from the mouth of his exact trainer, David Lindsay.
Nice,
Imagine
man.
3
Fuck
months
yeah.
from now, you're in the best shape of your life. You're feeling strong, clothes are fitting better, and you're getting compliments from others. And through the whole process, you only have to do 45-minute gym sessions 3 times a week whilst eating all the foods that you love and none of the ones that you don't. And for this dream outcome, you only have to pay $197. You'll finally have a physique that you're confident in, that you constantly want to take pictures of. You feel so confident when you're walking around and everyone starts to notice. So I want to provide you with all the knowledge and information for less than half the cost of 10 personal training sessions.
No.
I want to give you the information that will save you $500, even $1,000, and get this iconic and attractive lean physique that you've always wanted. You have access to all the information for life. Study it, take notes, recap it, keep coming back as many times as you need. It's yours. I could easily charge $500 or even $1,000 for this. It's taken me over 3 years to collate all this information for myself and actually put it to use to get the result that I wanted. But for you, I put it all into an easy to follow 12-week program. So here's a little bit about me. I'm Kieran. I used to be skinny fat, and I finally achieved the lean Brad Pitt physique that I'd always wanted. That made me feel confident and attractive for the first time, and I couldn't believe how simple it was when I finally achieved it. I want to tell you everything that I know, everything about training, nutrition, mindset, getting that six-pack, training those t-shirt muscles that often go overlooked.
Nice.
You might be wondering, what's in it for me? I get so frustrated seeing so much bad information out there. In the UK, 67% of men are overweight or obese, and in the US, it's a staggering 75%. Conventional diet and exercise advice is wrong. The numbers don't lie. It pains me to see well-intentioned people being lied to and suffering the health consequences as a result. If you pay and join today, you get instant access to all the right information. The last thing I want to mention is that for every 10 pounds of fat you lose, you'll massively increase your attraction from women, whether that be from your partner or otherwise.
Nice.
You'll gain the respect of your mates and other men. And most importantly, you'll gain the respect from yourself that you've undertaken this tough challenge and you've worked towards this goal and got the result. Not to mention all the muscle and strength that you'll have by the end of this protocol. Building this lean, attractive Fight Club physique changed my life, and the information in this course will change yours too. How long have you been waiting to get in shape? Would you have paid $197 to have this physique 5 years ago?
Nice. Fuck
I wish
yeah.
I did.
Oh,
I can't wait for you
nice.
to join and get your hands on this information. It's going to change your life. I'll see you on the inside.
Oh, holy shit. Fuck yeah. W in the chat, boys. That's probably one of the best VSLs I've seen so far. Little changes we can make. We can do, we can trim there was like a sentence here that I didn't like where you repeated, oh, my name's Kieran, I was skinny fat, whatever. Little changes, but like, fuck me, that was strong. And the, just a few of the sentences were like powerful. That's when I was saying like, fuck yeah. Like when you said, you showed the statistics. Okay, sweet. When you said this as well, this sentence here was, would you have paid $197 to have this physique 5 years ago? That's fucking strong, bro. Holy shit. Would you have paid like $200 to have this physique? That's fucking nice, man. Strong ass VSL, 5 minutes, concise. Step by step 12-week blueprint includes Brad Pitt's actual diet and gym program. Nice. Do you guys remember when I said to have some juicy dopamine bonuses? That's what I'm talking about. We can sell our course or our program nice. When you add a dopamine bonus, which is like the actual diet and gym program from the celebrity who's got the physique that, is the goal, that's just extra where someone's going to be thinking, oh shit, like, oh, that's amazing. Like, they might not even use it, right? I don't know what the actual program was, but I'm assuming like these days we probably know some things which are more optimized. But just the fact that it's juicy and it's a dopamine thing, you're like, oh, that's cool. I would have assumed it was pretty bad because that movie came out a while ago. But it doesn't matter because it's just attractive. Someone will see that and be like, oh, sweet, I'm convinced. Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah, the only thing that came to my mind, when Sam said he was even considering buying it, the only thing that came to my mind was, I think, just a guarantee. You've mentioned it here, which is 100% risk-free, visible abs in 90 days or your money back. That's a strong guarantee, right? Like, even though you see guarantees like this all the time, the guy who kind of makes these, you see random sales pages, no one really kind of hopefully thinks that anyone's going to take this guarantee, whatever. So highlighting it a bit more and actually having it inside of the VSL could be cool. What you could do, Kieran, is have this video file, record another little clip where you place it right at the end and you say, and I've just started this guarantee. When you join, we will mark a date on the calendar, or I will mark a date on my calendar, and you need to have a six-pack. And if you don't, I will give you your money back. So I'm literally forced to make sure that you get a six-pack within 12 weeks from now. I'm on your side. That's what you're paying for here. You're not just paying for and I repeat the things again, you're not just paying for the program and the workout routine and Brad Pitt's actual diet plan or anything. You are paying to have me on your side. Your name will literally be on my calendar, and I will make sure you have this physique within 12 weeks, or I will give you all of your money back. Because that's a strong ass guarantee. Usually when you have a guarantee like this, somewhere from like 5 to 10-ish% of people will want it. They'll say like, oh, I bought it and I'm not happy with it, whatever. And usually your conversion rate will go up by like 20 to 30% or even more. So it often just like, it basically is worth having a guarantee like this if you can actually like genuinely get people the results as well. Because one, statistically, like just with data, it actually makes sense to have this guarantee. Even though you'll get more refunds, you'll get more sales, which actually like is more significant than the refunds. But two, it's also a psychological thing, because if you say this in your VSL as a very specific thing and it's a very specific outcome, so not something vague of like, you know, and I guarantee if you join this, I'll turn you into a top 1% entrepreneur or a top 1% man or something, because that's too vague. But if it's like, I guarantee if you join this, we'll make the weight on your scale go down by 10 pounds within 10 weeks, something like that. So it's like a very, very clear, specific outcome that you know for a fact you could get someone. So when I every now and then, like some influencers and stuff, they message me about school, and I say to them, like, I give them a very specific guarantee, which is like, you only pay me when your churn, like this data point, goes down by 10%. So that someone looks at that and they're like, holy shit, okay, fair enough. So like, you'll literally get me the result and then I pay afterwards. It's like, yeah, it's easy. So yeah. Yeah, strong as fuck VSL, bro. Strong as fuck VSL. Let down by the start of this video. This start of this video, honestly, I don't know if anyone else agrees, but like, this made me think you were like a complete beginner who was just shit at this, honestly. And then straight once I saw this picture, it's like my impression of you had to completely change. And it's hard to do that, right? It's like when you've made an impression of someone, it's hard to ever like them again, or, you know, to change the impression. So you've got to be pretty careful of this. This was like one of the best VSLs I've seen. This was a very strong hook. You're very credible. You've basically got the exact physique that you're teaching to people as well. And it's just the first 1 minute was bad enough that most people wouldn't have actually watched. Because when you think about it, the problem that Kieran even mentioned was getting basically 0 impressions and basically 0 views, because we're losing people, at least on this one particular video. Obviously it might be different for the others, but we're losing people so hard. So what I would say for Kieran, the big constraint is the hook. We want to make sure that the start of your video is as strong as like your VSL was. Like the VSL was like the perfect YouTube video basically, which was, you know, like 300 women were given this questionnaire, whatever. You're straight away hooked. So yeah, awesome work, man. Let's see you keep posting a little bit more, and then let's see you just fucking nail the hook for the next video. W's in the chats, boys. Fucking awesome. Sweet, we'll leave it there. Was that a valuable call for the boys? Fuck it, let's do one more. YZ. He said, how can I improve on this video? I realize that the views have been pretty good for the videos, but there still seems to be no sales. Okay, so we've got views, but no sales. Let's have a look.
In this video, I'll tell you how I can make.
Hang on. The social skills one, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look.
In this video, I'll tell you how I can make friends within instantly 5 minutes of our interaction. To make friends easily, mindset is everything. I'm genuinely serious. When you go into a conversation, just being positive.
You're changing your voice on this one. Yeah, I've watched a previous video of yours.
In this video,
Yeah,
although
are you trying to make your voice deeper on this one, or because of the articulation?
Spread good vibes, wanting to become this individual who just
Yeah,
says
it sounds
joy
kind of
around
weird.
the
It put me
world.
off almost right away. I thought I was listening to someone with like special needs or something, bro. Honestly, that's whatever that setting was turned off, because this one was fine. I remember watching this one and I told you, yeah, just add some captions, because a lot of people haven't really spoken to someone from Singapore before. So
in
yeah,
this video,
accent
although
isn't super clear to I would assume to many people. But
exactly how I
the
go out.
voice is okay here. This one, it just felt really weird. It felt like some Down syndrome kids trying to be a content creator.
In this video, I'll tell you how I can make friends within instantly 5 minutes of our interaction. To make friends easily, mindset is everything. I'm genuinely serious. When you go into a conversation, just being positive.
I see what
Trying
you're
to
trying to
spread-
do. You're trying to articulate perfectly, because that's like one of the things that you'll be teaching with social skills, whatever. But remember, it's like you still need to talk in your videos like you would as a human. Like, be honest, do you talk like this to your friends? Fuck no, right? They'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what? Why are you acting like you got Down syndrome today, bro? Talk on the camera like you do with your friends, which is probably more like this one. Like I on this one, remember the feedback I gave you? We didn't even mention like the way you were articulating things, because there was nothing wrong with it. This one was perfect.
Options are the to becoming one of the most social people out there with true social
Yeah.
confidence.
So I'd say that just be careful when you're recording videos, boys, that like always remind yourself it's kind of like you're in a conversation with someone. So the only slight change I would make is like if you're making a video which is a bit more epic, and many of you aren't really going for that style. That kind of worked for my kind of like, oh, you know, self-improvement, this is a movement, but then obviously it was like it was attracting buddies and whatever. For us who are optimizing for sales and not for like the buddies and the feelings and whatever, you don't need to have this like this you know, this, oh, I am a leader and, you know, or I need to articulate it really differently. Just talk like you're just as you are. Like, imagine if I added one of you to the stage, how you talk to me, how you talk to your friends. That's how you want to go with. Sam asked, wouldn't that attract buddies? Not exactly, because the words you say still will be impactful. And you won't do any gay shit. Like, you know, you've positioned your camera in the passenger seat of your car and you're saying, hey, bro, I got this glass of water for you or anything. You're not doing that. It's more so just when someone presses play, it's almost like they forget it's a YouTube video because they're not picking up on the fact that it's like a presentation or a lecture or anything, but they just feel like they're listening to someone giving them advice. When someone's giving you advice, you can't have anything else in their mind. Like, you know, they're judging the way you sound, or, you know, you've got something in your teeth or something like that. You've got to speak to someone in a way which basically almost makes you dissolve and they just hear the message that you're giving to them. In this video, I don't think that's the case because of how fucking like wide your mouth is opening, and sometimes it's like I'm literally looking at that more than I'm listening to the advice.
Every single person around him. It just doesn't work like that. Every single time I enter interaction and I just say it's possible for me to become social by having the right attitude in place.
Yeah, so he said, I often have this idea where I have to speak to someone in an aggressive manner. And I would say, I know why you have that, because you probably watch a lot of my videos and it works for me. When my videos are made for like, yeah, self-improvement, don't be a pussy, fitness, discipline, that's the sort of vibe I go for. And it's also because like I was traumatized as a child, so it kind of works for me. For this, when your thing is like, oh, here's how to make friends,
Just wanting to
you probably don't want as much of that sort of dark energy in this. There's imagine like everyone imagine this. There's dark and light, and I think all of us know what that would. Dark is, let's say, it's the way I talk in my videos where I'll swear at you, I'll call you a pussy. It's the way that Sam spoke in his one where he's like, yeah, and I'm the guy. If you make this video full screen, there's a darkness to it, which is a bit like controlling, and even like it pushes towards like the psychopathic thing of like, no, like stop being a fucking pussy, like aggressive. There's certain people and certain niches that works with. So, for example, with business, it can work really well. With masculinity, discipline, with fitness, perfectly. David Goggins, for example, is maybe one of the best examples of this. All of his thing is in the dark energy. But when you see it when it's about this sort of like, oh, you know, watch this video for social skills and stuff, I would say it doesn't suit. I would say this needs to be more of the light energy, where when someone clicks on this, they feel like happy to watch you. They can actually tell that you're going to be popular. So this is going to be a bit of a weird advice. This is very nuanced. So everyone else, make sure you probably don't follow this. But for you, I actually think if your video feels like it's going to attract buddies, it might not be that bad, because you showing credibility is basically you making the viewer want to be friends with you. This is a very nuanced thing. For many of you, that's not the case at all, right? So for basically any of you at all, probably not the case. Maybe for Ollie a little bit. If your niche is like social skills, making friends, whatever, it kind of is a way to demonstrate your expertise when you actually kind of are aligning, not really purposely aligning to the buddies, but you're speaking in a way where the viewer will want to be friends with you, which is what all the rest of us are actually trying to avoid, because we don't want to position ourselves for our viewers to feel like they're friends with us. We want to position ourselves to be above our viewers, so our viewers will potentially want to buy from us. If viewers want to buy from this channel, they need to feel like he would be sick at making friends. Like, that's his credibility. I don't think that this video does it justice. I think you'd watch this video and think, oh, I bet this guy has no friends, which is not true. You're popular, but it doesn't come across that. So what I would say to you and to Ollie as well is like, Ollie's doing it well, which is like, make it in the more light energy, speak like a friend, and show the fact that you can talk like a person who we would all think is popular.
I'll tell you how I can watching this video is because are providing value to you.
This kind of like dark, aggressive, shout a bit. This would work for like a discipline video. It would work for like a business video. Stop being a pussy, lock in, make some fucking money, whatever. That it would work for that. It doesn't work for this thing of like, oh yeah, like go make friends and be nice to people and take an interest. Yeah, take an interest in their names, you fucking prick. Like, it kind of like destroys the thing of like, why aren't you doing the fucking how to win friends and influence people? Like, you're talking to me like an asshole. You're gonna tell me like, oh yeah, go be nice to people, bro.
I'm not talking about a bunch of bullshit, as you can see here. I'm being authentic to who I actually am. So that's super important, bro.
No,
It's
you're
not
not.
about the looks 100% of the time. As I'm saying, genetics are important. Don't get me wrong. Look,
Let's see this previous one.
bro, I seriously guarantee you
All
that
right,
if you
hang on, you're doing that for a little bit. Let me go to one where you've not done that. This was the first video you did, didn't it?
in this video, I'll tell you how I transformed my community. We're in social. Right. I'll tell you how I transformed myself. I'll tell you everything.
Let's go backwards. Yeah, I would really suggest you go back to this more authentic vibe.
If you want to start coaching as an Asian guy, this video is for you. I transformed myself from having serious.
This is better here.
If you want to 10x your, if you want to talk to any girl, anytime, anywhere, this video is for you.
So you want to improve your social skills, but I don't really know how to. From primary 5, right? In this video, I'll tell you how to exactly remove your
social anxiety around women.
Yeah.
In this video, I'll tell you exactly how I got out of social anxiety to becoming one of the most social people.
Use your real voice, bro. You don't need in this niche, you don't need that sort of like deep voice commanding presence to make people listen to you. You've basically just got to be the likable popular guy, and then people will listen to you. And the likable popular guy isn't trying to do the alpha male thing like my niche or the business niche or whatever. So I would say, yeah, go back to this kind of vibe, bro. You don't like, this is literally like making the video worse. So go back to just speaking exactly how you are, because when you're making a video on how to create, like, form human relationships, and then you're like artificially making your voice deeper, it's a bit absurd when you think about it, right? Like people want genuine connection, and the way you're presenting yourself is in a way where people are going to judge you and think, oh, that's how he tries to talk to friends. I can tell he's trying to like deepen his voice. He's probably not good at this. So you speak to the camera as you would actually speak to your friends. So again, for everyone else who's watching this, that's not the advice I would give to you guys. For many of you guys, let's say you're in the fitness niche, whatever, it probably would serve you to talk more with the dark, commanding energy if that feels still authentic to you. But with this, I think this is the one exception of the niche, which is that we've got to really make sure we're presenting ourselves in a way where the viewer would actually believe that you are popular by how you speak.
Speak to anyone without thinking that I'm a born loser. I'm just overthinking, thinking that I'm amounted to nothing in my whole entire lifetime. So as I looked at myself at that very instant,
Let's have a look at the program. What was it you said here again? Would the niche of helping young men in their 20s make high quality friends through mastering communication be a good niche? Yeah, what do you guys think, everyone who's watching this? What do you think, like, the sub niche, like the main niche is kind of like social skills, whatever. What do you think the sub niche is, communication? I asked you before, you still live in Singapore right now, don't you? Yeah, okay. The Asian guys thing could work. The only thing is, it would particularly work if he wasn't still in an Asian country like Singapore. If he, for example, he went to, I don't know, in Canada or something, and then his niche was like, oh, it's for Asian guys. It's got this special edge of like, oh, it's for Asian guys, but who are now in the West and have to kind of adopt to that kind of new, the culture there. Since he lives in the same country, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, you could potentially try to lean into it, but like you wouldn't be the best guy for Asian guys to watch who, for example, have moved to a different country, because there's a guy who's already actually done that. So I don't think it came to my mind, obviously, the first thing you see is like someone's race. And if you can use race in your videos, it kind of makes sense. Just mostly, I probably wouldn't go for white guys to use that, just because it's like, oh, like here's how to lose 10 pounds as a white man. It's like for some reason it just sounds bad, even though for everyone else it sounds normal. But white guys have got it out for you. Honestly, like half the shit you guys do these days is deemed as racist. So I probably wouldn't have that as your video title, like how to make money as a white man. Like. It's interesting, isn't it? Because if you any other race is like, oh yeah, that's fine, yeah, sure, yeah, sounds amazing, bro. Like, how white men can lose weight, like, yeah. Let me think. What? So the niche of like communication skills. Interesting that I think your top video or your second video. Yeah, remember you said to me last time we spoke, you were actually considering leaning into the dating niche as well. The cold approaching. Yeah, could make sense. Quite a lot of your videos that have performed quite well have been in the cold approaching thing, like communication skills, but for dating. I think that's what it is. We were just trying to find a sub niche. And the sub niche the big niche is going to be communication skills, just like the big niche for Kieran's thing was fitness and building like a good physique. But when you make it a bit more specific, so for Kieran, it wasn't just, losing weight, it was to look like Brad Pitt from that movie, the lean aesthetic look. Yeah, and then for you, what we could do is we go from just communication skills to either communication skills in school or something, or in university with male friends, or with dating. Yeah. Are you in college or anything right now, or college, high school, or anything? I mean, oh yeah, right. Yeah, to be honest, I wonder doing could be a pretty fucking interesting niche for you to do like communication skills and making friends when you're in national service. I mean, it's very niche, right? And everyone in your country has to do it as well, don't they? For anyone so Singapore has like national service. So when you turn like 18 years old, guys have to do like I think 2 or 3 years training basically in like the military or in certain fields. And I think women have to do like 1 year or 2 years or something. It could be a very specific, because everyone has to go through it, right? And it's a very specific thing. Like for example, if you just make communication skills videos, it's a bit If you make communication skills in university, it's way better because it's so much more specific, and it's also there's more pain. And since you're not in university but you are in national service, that could be the one. Have you gotten friends whilst in there? Have you met people whilst you've been inside? Yeah. Could be that niche, Imagine how specific that is. Communication skills or friendship skills whilst in the Singaporean national service. And you said you hate it, which is fair enough, but you don't have to like it for this. In fact, the fact that you hate it could be a reason why you'd be good at this. Because what's the one thing that's actually made it fucking livable? Probably the friends that you've made, right? So the fact that you hate it is actually a good sign, because I feel like you'd actually care more about that point. Yeah, like Damien just said, having friends makes it livable. It makes it bearable. That might actually be a good niche for you, because we were trying to figure out what sub niche you should go into. And then with the cold approaching thing, we were like, it's a bit of a social suicide. If people know you, especially in Asian culture, if people know you as the guy who talks about like pickup artists and that kind of things, it's not a good look for any culture, even the more sort of degenerate, kind of open-minded sexual cultures of like white people, black people, Westerners and stuff. But for Asian culture particularly, it's like you could go down that route, but I think it is costly to do so. Like if you make more of these cold approaching videos in Singapore and stuff. And when you finish national service, then you're like the guy who's kind of finished it, and you can still give advice on it. Like, for example, let's say someone has studied, I don't know, medicine or something, and their niche is helping people with a certain exam. Like Diego, right? You've seen him in our daughter's school. He's like the lawyer guy, and he's in law school. So his niche is to help people with a certain exam. But he's done the exam. Do you see how like, well, yeah, like the fact that he's done the exam is the reason why actually that you'd kind of like you'd listen to him. He's not currently doing the exam. He's actually finished with it, but you'd still listen to him even though it's finished. No one actually would say to him like, yeah, but like, are you currently in doing the exam again, or are you currently in school or whatever? Or are you currently studying for the exam? Because if you've done the thing, then that's also a flex as well. So let's say when you leave, the niche can be exactly the same, and you can say, I met all of my best friends through national service. Even once you've graduated it, let's say 3 years from now, 5 years from now, your video starts with like, oh yeah, I met all of my best friends inside of national service and we're still friends today. This is what you can do if you're 18 years old and you, I don't know, you just got one of the positions that you got or something like that. That'd be interesting. I wonder if you could whip that up quickly. A video on this sub niche and an updated school page on this sub niche as well. You said, would you consider changing high quality friends to just friends? I would say just like you can elaborate on that, but I think just keeping it as friends is fine. And you said you're either going to do it in college or national service. I am leaning on national service right now. I think that's such an interesting niche, and I'm not sure if anyone's done it. But so you won't get many views because it'll be Singaporean specific. So you might stay at like 10 views, 50 views, whatever. But I think you might actually start to get some like way more sales because that's a very, very, very specific niche and problem to go through. So it'd be interesting, bro. And you said you've actually made a lot of friends in this, so you're credible as well. So give that a try, bro. Go make a video which is titled something like, here's how I made friends in the Singaporean national service, or here's how I made friends in national service, brackets, Singapore, something like that. And then go make up another sales page. Maybe just update this one quickly, or you can save the text that you've got right now so you can bring it back later. And just update the sales page with the same thing. Make friends in national service or improve. I'll probably say that, make friends. I wouldn't say communication skills and I wouldn't say social skills because it's not really the social skills or the communication skills we really want. It's the friendship, and the communication skills is the vehicle. And we often don't really want to show them the vehicle as much. So I would make your tagline something like make friends in national service and on the sales page as well. What do we think? I know no one else here is probably from Singapore, but like I think that's a pretty fucking strong niche. Anyone else? Because social skills by itself is already a pretty nice niche. But when you align it to a very specific period of time, like, okay, high school, like exam season, like the military. Imagine there's someone who makes videos like how to make friends in the British Army or something. Like that's so specific. He might not get many views, only a few hundred per video. But if there's someone who wants that, they'll be quite likely to buy that program. And you guys get paid for the national service as well, don't you? Yeah, you must do. You get paid through it as well. Yeah, everyone goes through it, and I'm pretty sure you get paid because you get jobs like aligned for it. Yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking then, what language should you use? What language do you speak to? Imagine you're there, like I don't know how it works, but you're there with people inside of the office or whatever. What language do you guys speak there? Yeah, then do English, yeah. Yeah. And what language do you watch YouTube videos in, and your friends as well? I would say, you know what? The way to make this simple is speak exactly like you do to your friends who are in national service. So if you use English, then use English. Like you said, you've got like slang and stuff, then include that slang as well. Speak exactly how you do with your friends in your video. Let's give that a try and let's see. I think that niche could work really fucking well for you. I think that's way better than like a general communication skills. Yeah, fuck yeah. And then yeah, just make the sales page, do the video, do a CTA to the course, and then have an updated version here. Maybe just go update YouTube, the VSL as well. And then let's see what happens with that. Sweet. W's in the chat, boys. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Happy for you, bro. I think that's a pretty good change of your niche there. Awesome, boys. Thank you for joining me today. I'll get Sam to post this video for us on the community page. I'm going to get ready for bedtime, but if you guys want to, I'll unmute everyone. If you want to stay on the call, you can do. You can just like keep reviewing each other's videos if you want. Yeah, it's fucking shit, bro. Fuck you. I don't think you've got what it takes, man. Yeah, I think you should quit, bro. You see a guy who's in your niche. Yeah, you know, I think you should just quit, man. Sweet. You can unmute yourselves now, boys. Have a good night, everyone.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
See you later.
Whoever made that black joke, I'm beating your ass.